Greetings, YouTube. I apologize for the poor lighting. I have a cat, and she does not want to be disturbed, and she's quite toasty. And I apologize for the hood and the hat, but I'm still fighting a cold, and I am chilly. So that's what we've got. Well, over the course of fighting this miserable cold, which doesn't seem to want to go away, and whose job seems to be to turn my sinus cavities into solid blocks of mucus, I found myself experiencing a lot of sneezing. I mean, I sneeze pretty much every day. In fact, oddly at work, I usually have at least one sneezing fit where I'll sneeze like 2 to 4 times. And then it won't happen again for the rest of the day. I'll figure out why. And I almost always sneeze in multiples. Almost always. It's so rare for me to sneeze once. It's usually 2 to 3 times. And I don't know why that happens either. But with this cold, I've been sneezing a lot. Like 20, 30 times a day. And I've been doing everything to contain those sneezes because I really don't want to spread my cold, because a rhinovirus, which is what I've got, is spread through aerosol. You cannot pick up a rhinovirus by touch. It doesn't work. You have to get it into your sinus cavities. So even if someone was like to wipe snot on your hand, unless you took that hand and then shoved it into your sinus cavity, you're not going to get a cold. Grossed out, but not cold. The flu virus is much different. Flu virus snot, you're in trouble. But it got me thinking about sneezes. A sneeze is a remarkably effective way to spread a rhinovirus. I've seen slow-mo. Go look up it. Go online, find a slow-motion sneeze video. The amount of aerosol that comes out of a human being when they sneeze is astounding. And I made me think of the evolution of the cold virus, the rhinovirus. Imagine a point in the past where the virus was spread through saliva. Now that's enough of a spread to get it going from place to place within a family group. So the virus is going to have enough spreading to keep it alive, keep it propagating from person to person, so the virus doesn't die out as it's destroyed by each individual's immune system. But it's not spreading very quickly. But viruses mutate incredibly quickly. So, as a fluke, imagine that this saliva-based virus mutates, and it causes the person who has the virus, or animal, if it was an animal, to sneeze or cough. Suddenly, that virus is being sprayed through the air in an aerosol, getting to more people faster, or more animals in general and faster. Because I'm sure anyone who has pets, cats and dogs, you have been sneezed upon before. And that evolutionary leap right there, that just happenstance, that the reflex was kicked in, because we have a cough and sneeze reflex to other irritants in the environment. So that the virus mutates and triggers that response is possible. So it triggers that response, and suddenly, boom, it's now spraying itself through the air. And just that simple mutation, it would only have to happen once within, a decent population. Suddenly, it's being propagated everywhere. Instead of infecting one person at a time, it's now infecting 3 and 4 people at a time. And because that virus now carries that mutation, it causes them to sneeze or cough, spreading more aerosols and propagating itself even further, even faster. And before you know it, the virus that was spread by saliva is outcompeted completely. That other individuals are being infected so quickly with this new virus that it just dies out. Everyone's already got the aerosol version before it can get there. The immune system's already kicking in and already in high gear by the time it arrives, and since at that time it would have been evolutionary close enough to the original, or itself, it's the original version, it would have been defeated. But now, the aerosol version is just everywhere. Now, I'm not basing this on any research I've read, but this is how evolution works. Slight mutations, any kind of advantage, and it jumps at it, it leaps at it, it moves on to the next victim. So, cover your mouth when you're coughing and sneezing. You don't want to become a disease vector. I know I don't. And get your flu vaccine. I know I've gotten mine. And people ask, well, why can't they have a flu vaccine that covers all the strains? But I think there are like 8 to 12 strains of flu vaccine floating around the world at any one time. And the reason we can't have one, pan uh, style that covers all of them is because there's 8 to 12 different versions, and so then they mutate on a regular basis. And there are like 800 or 900 different varieties of colds, I think, of rhinoviruses. So we're not anywhere near a true vaccine for those. Though I have heard somewhere that there were some French researchers that say that they might have working on a vaccine that could actually go to the root components of a rhinovirus and may be able to actually prevent them, and that would be awesome if we can break the chain of infection of the cold. Think how wonderful that would be. It just boom, and all of a sudden we break it, and it can't go far enough to continue propagating itself. And you only have to do that for a little while, and then within that population, the virus would die out. Of course, you'd have to make sure that a whole lot of people were vaccinated, but I'd be signing up for that vaccine in a heartbeat. So this is just me pondering about evolution and colds and things like that. And yes, this is how I pass my time at work. I often ponder evolution and how the mechanisms function because I find it fascinating. And it's one of the reasons I am so deeply frustrated with people who refuse to accept that, it is the best definition and explanation for the diversity of life in the world around us. And I'm constantly frustrated by that. I have a t-shirt. It's the Monty Python's Funny Walks. I think I've worn it here. It's red. It's got the evolution of the funny walk on it. And one of my coworkers once walked up to me and said, some people don't believe in that. Completely missing the point that the shirt was about Monty Python and not actually about evolution. And in my response was just stunned silence. And I went, guys, I couldn't believe that he didn't believe in evolution. I couldn't believe that he didn't get the joke. So I just kind of stood there. And he wandered away. Omar always made me smile. So tell me, have you experienced in your life any kind of event that made you understand or marvel at evolution on a very personal level? I kind of enjoy those kind of stories. And does anyone else have a nice toasty cat?